Okay, why do these movies look different? One is a short film and the other is a feature film. And there's just something that differentiates the two. Something that separates the professional film look from the amateur student film look. But what exactly is that difference? I mean, it's not like this short film looks ugly. It looks fine, I guess, but it doesn't look quite like a Hollywood movie to me. There's a difference. What is that difference? Well, after doing some research, I think I figured it out. I think as indie filmmakers, we're all kind of obsessed with getting the quote-unquote making a shot look pretty and pleasing, like something you'd see in a Hollywood film.
Cinematic video.
Getting the cinematic images that feel like they're out of a movie.
Create a cinematic look.
Clearly, there's tons of knowledge out there on YouTube, but still, it seems like not an easy thing to master, given that there are a lot of short films out there, mine included, that look like student short films, but not like movies. For some short films, I could tell there was something missing. But for a long time, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I would always wonder, what are the secrets to getting an image that looks identical to that of a mainstream film? You might say it's that mainstream movies have much bigger crews and incredibly high budgets compared to the short films I find on YouTube, allowing them to have the most professional cameras, lights, and sets. But then, how do you explain Gawk's art? A YouTube channel whose videos are made by one person and some help from his parents. And he gets some amazing ass cinematography. Like, seriously, his videos look like Hollywood movies. When you're done watching this video, please go and watch his stuff. It's some of the highest quality content you will find on YouTube, I guarantee. But anyways, I decided I was going to figure it out once and for all. So what I did is I took a bunch of shots from movies and I compared them to shots from short films that to me don't look as good. And I looked for differences.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue.
I think I found it. Well, I mean, it's not one thing, it's multiple things that make a shot look like a movie, but I think I can sum those things up in one phrase. Here it is. Instead of saying, how do I make this shot look cinematic? Replace the word cinematic with the word interesting. How do I make this shot look interesting? Oh, okay, that was probably a lot lamer than what you were expecting, but don't click off. Seriously, hear me out. Let me explain what I mean by that. I'll explain it with an example. Okay, so let's take a look at this shot right here from the short film called Housekeeping. Nothing against this short film or the person who made it. It's a cool short film, and most of it is actually really well shot, but I'm so sorry. I'm just going to criticize one of your shots. Sorry. So if we look at the girl's face, the lighting here is pretty flat. The face is pretty evenly lit. Okay. But now, if we look at the background, you may notice that the color of the background is quite similar to the color of the girl's face, kind of a beige color. The background isn't all that much darker or brighter than the girl, the luminance is around the same. The girl's face almost kind of blends in with the background. The image is flat. It's boring, it's uncinematic. Now let's compare that shot to this shot from the movie Parasite. In this shot, the ceiling isn't just a solid color, but it is a pattern which creates a subtle separation between the subject and the background, even though the overall color of the image is similar. Now notice the lighting on the face. His whole face isn't lit evenly. Light hits him from one side of the face and creates shadows on the other side. This all works to create depth in the image. It makes the image look more interesting. Our eyes seem to like images that have bright parts and dark parts, images that have interesting patterns or shapes, images that use color in interesting ways, images that have multiple, sometimes contrasting elements. This is what makes up the cinematic look. And it's why I say you should ask yourself how you can make your image look more interesting. If you work on making it more interesting, you will have interesting lighting, interesting color. You'll just film more interesting locations and you'll have a more interesting image to look at, which means a more cinematic image. One key concept is creating separation in an image. making it so that all the elements don't just blend in together, but have separation, whether it be through light, color, or whatever. This is why we often find a shallow depth of field cinematic looking, because it creates separation from the subject and the background, and it just looks interesting. In movies, this separation between different elements is often done with lighting and color. In movies, the lighting almost never hits a person's face from directly in front, but usually from the side or from above. This makes it so that part of their face is bright and another part is dark. Backlighting is also commonly used to give an outline to a person, which can create separation from the background. The YouTuber Danny Giverts actually has a great video on this, where he explains these concepts really well. I'll add a link to his video in the description. Color is also used often to create separation, and well, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Have your background a different color than your subject, or different and interesting colors colliding in an image, you get the point. This is why it's important to pay attention to your colors not just in the color grading process, but on set, because the colors you choose to put in front of your camera can dramatically affect how good your image ends up looking. Another thing I also notice in movies that create separation is having a really cool or interesting background. Remember, the cinematic look is all about making an image look interesting. So having a background with interesting patterns, leading lines, different colors can make the image look better. It's actually not common to see environments made up of empty white walls in films. Usually the walls are color other than white, or the interior is full of objects and decorations to make the environment look more interesting. This is done intentionally to create a good-looking image. It can also be good to light the scene so that the background appears darker than the subject to create separation. But I mean, you don't have to. There are also other ways. Also, having the background bright and people dark can create a really cool silhouette effect that also looks cool. So you get the concept? Focus on making an image look interesting by creating separation between elements through lighting, color, and whatever else you can come up with. You want depth in your image. And make sure to light faces so that they're not too flat. Now, with that said, those are not the only keys to getting a cinematic looking shot. I am going to breeze through two other factors/mistakes that make an image look amateur and not out of a movie.
I cannot tell you how much it freaking annoys me when I see a short film or a video where the image looks nice, but then the movement looks like it's way too choppy. The shutter speed is too high.
Sometimes a higher shutter speed is used for action scenes or tense moments to show that something is off. But no movie uses a high shutter speed throughout the whole movie. Okay, get this rule in your head. Take the frame rate you're shooting in, double it, and that is what your shutter speed should be. If you're shooting in 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 48. In most DSLR cameras, there is no option for a shutter speed of 48, so you just have to set it to 50, but that's close enough. It's good.
But Abdiel, what if I'm shooting in daylight and the image is too bright because the shutter speed is low to match the frame rate, and the lowest ISO can go is 100, but it's still too bright?
Well, that, my friends, is what ND filters are for. You can get pretty affordable ND filters on Amazon, and they act as sunglasses for your camera. Cool.
So highlights being crushed usually don't look too cinematic. They look more like a mistake. And unless it's done on purpose, underexposure doesn't look too cinematic either. Now, this does have to do with the equipment being used and how good the dynamic range is on your camera. Because often you will find yourself shooting shots with bright and dark parts in the image, and if you're using a Canon T3i like me, your dynamic range sucks. So you either have correctly exposed highs and crushed lows, or correctly exposed lows but crushed highs. It's really annoying. I really gotta get a new camera. Luckily, today we have affordable cameras with great dynamic range, so even without a Hollywood budget, you can get pretty good gear. Now, with all that stuff that we learned, I want to see how cinematic of a shot I can get in my house. And a quick disclaimer, I am no professional cinematographer. In fact, I'm new to all this stuff as well. I'm just excited to try to apply what I've learned and get better at cinematography by practicing. Alright, so this is what I have to work with. This is our dining room. We got a window over there. We have frames over here, flowers, and well, this is the table, and that's my lovely mom who's going to be modeling. And I have this one video light. Plan is we need to make this look cinematic, like a movie. I have a Canon T3i. That's what I'm recording this on. So yeah, it's not a super professional high-end camera. It's not even a super professional light either. It's cheap light. So I want to see what we can get with my gear. First step is to see where I want to place the camera. Where do I think it would look nice? It could look better here, or I could put it here. Let's try connecting the light. Let's turn on. Okay, so that's the light on. It does not look very good at all. The image looks really flat. Over here. Okay, that looks better. I like that. Kind of wish my light was a bit brighter. If I move it closer, it's gonna get in the frame. If I change the camera angle a bit, I liked it how it was before. You get to see a bit more light on our face. Try kind of from here. I like it a bit closer. The light from the window is actually kind of hitting nicer now than it was before because the sun was behind the clouds and now it's kind of coming out. It looks really nice. Now, if we wanted to get a close-up, there's less elements in this shot, so I find it a little harder to make it look as nice. Okay, what if we get a lower angle? I like that. I'm noticing a problem. There needs to be more fill light to match the other clip.
We do also have this, so maybe this can help a bit.
Hold up, I think I'm gonna need my brother's help. I don't know what I was thinking. This angle looks a lot better. I should have had her on the other side with the first shot, but oh, that actually looks pretty interesting, having like a yellow light in the background, kind of contrasting. I wish it was a bit dimmer. I can't really dim the light bulb in the back. It's a pretty interesting look, actually.
So these shots aren't perfect, but I'm happy that I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm taking steps towards improving my cinematography. As I learn more about cinematography and film, I just get this sense of excitement. Like I want to use my camera and the tools at my disposal as I would a canvas and a paintbrush to just like create visual art, to create impactful images. I hope you too can feel inspired to just experiment creating your own images and expanding your own knowledge of cinematography. In fact, I challenge you. Yes, you watching this video right now, I challenge you to take what you've learned from this video and to right now use it to create something. Stop scrolling through YouTube, drop everything you're doing and just go make something. Go experiment and create art. And if you can't do it right now, then do it at some point today. I dare you.